Yeah, sure, dude. Like, we'll see about this sun-absorbing video game.
The Virgin Kojima versus the Chad Miyamoto. Go! Wait, say it again.
Go!
A go!
That's pretty good, yeah. You got it.
I'm not the master like you of Mario knockoff voices.
I've been playing a lot of Mario, so my Mario is finely tuned right now.
You've been playing Mario?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little tease, a little foreshadowing about what the video games we're going to talk about.
Definitely a tease right there.
I like to lead the audience along and just, pretend I'm playing some indie darling and then, tease it out later. Like Mario, Nobody's ever played this game. It's very underground.
It's very underground. Never heard of him. Mario. More recognizable than Mickey Mouse internationally.
Yeah. No, it's a tiny little game for pro gamers.
No, only pro gamers allowed. You have to at least be a core gamer and up to play.
Core or higher, please.
Core or higher.
Casual need not enter. Need not apply.
Casual, get out.
And the sign said, casual game players need not apply.
What was that?
Song.
That's a song?
Yeah.
Is this an actual song that you're riffing off of? Freaky People?
It's, of course, the 5-man electric band, David.
This is the most dad rock song you could have brought up.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm honestly shocked at how dad rocky this is. You're like, oh yeah, this song, don't you know? This one.
That old ditty that Rob Albee, I'm sure, listened to it.
This is definitely Rob Albee music. Long-haired freaky people. Hey.
It applies to Rob Albee.
Personally attacked.
I just thought, I would drop a very relevant reference to everyone who's listening to this pod and loves video games and loves clearly the 5-man electric band, then their famous song Signs.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was good ref. Good ref.
That's what you can come to expect on Video Game Podtimism.
Hey.
It's an Optimists. No, it's the Optimists video game variety show.
We claim all optimism.
Yeah, sorry, everybody else. There's none left. It is the Optimist Video Game Variety Show, where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming in one dad rock song. My name is Chase, and I think, I don't want to wade too deep into this one. But my favorite dad rock song, can it be a Fleetwood Mac song? Is that possible?
Oh, it can definitely be a Fleetwood Mac song.
Maybe Dreams. I know that's typical. I know that's like on the nose and hot right now, but like it bangs. Dreams bangs.
That's a good one. Probably my favorite dad rock. Oh, I'm David, by the way.
Hi.
My favorite dad rock song is Layla by Eric Clapton. Definitely dad rock at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
It's a good one.
He kind of shreds. He's I think a pretty bad dude, but
I've heard he's a bad man.
Yeah.
Probably the vast majority of those dudes are bad men at this point.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of dad rock guys are probably not the top character. Probably not your standard Mario. David.
Yes.
Are you playing those wonderful little things called video games?
An electronic game?
An electronic game.
So is it like if you put a board game into a computer TV screen?
Sort of. It all started when a man named Hideo Kojima... No. Are you playing video games?
I am playing video games.
Which ones, my friend?
Yeah, still playing Rocket League with the He clan.
Sure, yeah.
I'm doing better.
Okay. Now you're on the up and up. You had to get bad before you get good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just as Jake the dog always says.
Sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
That's some of the best advice I ever heard in a kid's show. That's so good.
For real.
Good. Yeah. And then my clanmates were like, David, we can tell you've been practicing. I was like, I have been practicing. Thank you for noticing and validating me. So that was good.
Hell yeah.
Playing Persona 4 still.
Persona 4. Did you switch?
Persona 5.
I was like, damn, you blew through the fifth one, jumped right into 4.
I already finished Persona 5. No, that game is massive.
It's gigantic. Where are you in it?
I haven't gotten much farther. I kind of hit a wall because they kind of opened up the game a little bit more. And I just kind of got overwhelmed with things to do, and I got lost in the subway station, and I was just trying to get a part-time job. I didn't know where I was going, and I just went around in circles, and I got on the wrong train again because I thought I was supposed to go back, but I just had to go down until like the left, and there was an underground mall that was there, and I didn't know where I was. And I don't have anybody to call or talk to about these things because everyone was at home, and Sojiro doesn't care about me. So I was just this teenage boy lost alone in Tokyo. I guess from a role-playing game standpoint, it really nailed it right there.
Yeah.
I definitely felt the anxiety and stress of being a youth alone in a foreign, crowded place.
Yeah.
Without a shoulder to cry on.
Just the kind of things you're looking for with your escapism.
Exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock at night as I'm trying to unwind from the day.
Where am I?
Where am I? I'm stressed out. All of these places look the same. People are constantly whispering about me. Yeah. Oh God, it really brings back high school memories that are not good.
Those phantom thieves are real douchers.
Be like, isn't that the new kid? I heard he's already getting expelled. Why is he even here? It's like, oh God, this is really hitting me somewhere sensitive.
Sure.
But it's still fun. But I still haven't beaten, like, I'm guessing what's the tutorial palace is Kamoshida essentially. So I got to do that, but we'll find the right time to get there. So still good. And then I've been playing 2 new ones.
Okay, wow.
Because every time after I beat a game that I obsess over, I kind of just like essentially go on to Video Game Bachelor and just like start looking at all these games that I have access to and just like downloading them, giving them a shot and being like, nah, not for me. And then just moving on to the next one.
Sure.
So I'm a glutton for punishment right now, so I downloaded Nioh.
Oh man. Wow. That's intense.
So I've been playing through that a little bit, but definitely pretty unforgiving.
Nioh's pretty fucked. It's like, for whatever reason, I can kind of jive with the FromSoft games. Like, Nioh gives you no quarter. You will not be given anything. And not that like the FromSoft games give you like handouts or free wins or anything, but Jesus, I feel like you make one mistake in Nioh sometimes and it's like, oh no, that's actually, you're dead now.
Yeah, I feel like at least with FromSoft, if I mess up, I can at least roll away pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But with Nioh, it's like, no, you're stuck in this combo right now and you're dead.
Yeah, just get blasted, my guy.
You're dead. Sorry. It's like, oh God, brutal. And then you have to go all the way back.
Yeah.
And you lose your special spirit and then you just suck. You just suck.
Are you playing 1 or 2?
1.
Okay.
1 was free at some point on PlayStation Plus and I had downloaded it.
Yeah.
This is what I do after I beat a game. I go back through my old PlayStation Plus downloaded games and see like, which one shall I sample today? So yeah, I've been playing Nioh. It's fun, brutal, and punishing, which I guess I kind of like now in some games. But
you've made the full transition.
I have to be in the mood, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And after Bloodborne, I was still just feeling a little too high strung. So I was like, I need to find something really low key.
Yeah,
something really cartoony. Something maybe a little snacky.
Are you playing Bugsnax?
I'm playing Bugsnax.
What the fuck?
It's the best game I've played since Bloodborne.
Wow. Okay. Whoa. This is hitting me like a ton of bricks. Whoa.
Dude, this game's good.
That's wild.
This game is good.
I've heard so many conflicting things about Bugsnax, and I'm like very interested to hear your take on this.
So imagine that they made the ideal Pokemon Snap game, and that's essentially what Bugsnax is, except without Pokemon, but instead with like weird snack bug things.
Yeah, snack bugs.
Bugsnax, snack bugs.
Bugsnax, yeah.
Yeah, because you have like your little camera, you can go around and like identify them. You have to capture them in certain ways. You can't really like, there's like no damage in the game. You can't die, which is very refreshing after Bloodborne and Nioh.
But nothing but damage video games.
Yeah, nothing. And this one is nothing but just chill vibes, feeling some emotions and catching some Bugsnax, and that's it.
Yeah.
You just chill out and there's just like silly music. There's funny characters, but also like some real emotion in there, which is interesting.
I've heard there's some wild stuff. I've heard the ending is absolutely off the rails, like just crazy.
There's some weird shit already going on because you're just on this island and you arrive and it's like people are weirded out by Bugsnax. They can't explain why that turns you into snacks. And then there's like an ancient ruin that you find on the island, and there's some sort of mystery people that used to live there, and something fucked is gonna happen. I can feel it. There's gonna be some weird stuff going on. I don't know if there's like cannibalism or what, but it's gonna be gnar. I can feel it already. So we'll see where that ends up. Yeah, but it's fun. It is fun.
Wow.
My favorite Bugsnax, in case you're wondering, is Bunger.
I've heard Bunger is really a good one.
Bunger is my favorite so far by a long shot. Nothing is close to Bunger. I love the way he sounds.
Can you do a little impersonation? Is that possible?
Yeah. Bunger, 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 Bunger. And then if he sees you, he goes, Bunger, 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 Bunger. As he like charges at you.
Yeah. Oh, he's trying to, defend himself.
Yeah. So it's pretty.
Yeah.
The grossest one is Weenie Worm so far. Which is A, gross name. B, he moves around like a weenie worm you'd expect to move around. Cause kind of nasty.
Bottom tier Bugsnax.
That's a bottom snack right there.
Yeah, that's a bottom snack. Not relevant for competitive Bugsnax.
No, definitely not.
For ranked Bugsnax.
Definitely not. But no, it really is. It does feel like I guess now that they're actually doing a Pokemon Snap sequel, but it's still on rails. Like kind of what people, I guess our age would have liked Pokemon Snap to evolve into one day, where you're like walking around in the environment and really interacting with the Bugsnax or Pokemans.
Yeah. With
the snacks or the Mons to get them to come out and capture them or take pictures of them or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Whoa. This was not the twist I thought this segment was going to take.
I've only heard good things about Bugsnax, so that's why I wanted to try it out. And it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it was.
So I was like, why not? You should try it.
Yeah, I might get up in there. So then we can really be talking about Bugsnax.
What did you hear that was negative about it?
I heard the game design, like how to like lure Bugsnax to you isn't always that clear, that it is kind of difficult to like move through the game, and that it doesn't look particularly great. I think that may have just sort of been a complaint based on the fact that it's like a launch title for the next gen. It doesn't look phenomenal, but I don't know. I usually don't have that big of a problem with like graphic fidelity unless it's just truly awful.
It's very stylized. It's fine.
Yeah.
And they do, the grass looks pretty good. Grass moves in the wind. So really adds
eat your heart out, Demon Souls.
Get a level of depth right there. Yeah, get wrecked, Demon Souls. Oh god, that game looks so. Oh god, the Storm King.
I know, yeah.
That's gonna be a definite video game memory for quite some time.
Top boss battles of 2021.
Honestly, nothing made me feel more cool to fight than the Storm King. In
the
quite
big
some
old
time.
manta ray.
Big old Sky Ray.
I don't know why Sky Ray tickled me in such a strange way.
It's just Ray Romano up in the sky, like Mufasa. In the clouds.
Remember who you are. That's my best Ray Romano. I'm sorry.
That wasn't too bad, to be honest.
It's in like the ballpark, but I don't know that I did that.
It was like a strange mixture of JFK and Bernie Sanders.
It sounds like Ray Romano to me.
Can you do it again?
I'm the Storm King. I'm coming to kill you with all my other Sky Rays.
I was getting to Kermit there for a second.
Hello, Sky King the Frog here.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You practice that Kermit?
No.
You should. You have a future in voice acting, Chase.
Yeah, I've got a face for podcasting, David. Is that the only video game you're playing?
That's it for right now. What are you playing?
I am playing a bunch of stuff. The first thing is that I have finished Death Stranding. I beat that game.
Nice. Good ending?
Yes, very Hideo. Deeply Hideo Kojima. Man, it's so much to get into that I can't possibly talk about it without like spoiling so much of the video game. But yeah, it was a wild turn of events sort of towards the end of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very Hideo Kojima in the way that for most of the game, it's kind of unclear what exactly is happening. And then, the last, fifth of it, they're just like dumping information on you, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does come at you pretty fast. Mm-hmm. There's like a couple of twists and turns at the end that I really wasn't expecting. And I probably could have figured it out if I was like really thinking about it, but I was just kind of along for the ride and was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. What else about this game? Mechanically, it was still very fun. It got pretty, like, it leaned a little bit more action heavy than I was expecting it to be, sort of towards the latter half of the game. Mm-hmm. The beginning and, like, the first half is definitely, like, kind of slow going, and you're definitely just delivering packages.
Walking.
Walking, yeah. Doing your Norman Reedus thing. And the latter half was a lot more like, here's your rocket launcher that you're getting now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's a little wild. Yeah, I think overall a really good game, a wild experiment for such like a triple A sort of approach. Mm-hmm. Not to jump too far ahead, but we're doing a good games on a game that is very experimental from Hideo Kojima, but is also sort of smaller scale, whereas this one was huge and employed so many famous people and famous voice actors, and like a lot of people worked on it just to have this absolutely bananas story and very odd gameplay. Like it's I don't know. I was pretty shocked at the level of experimentation that they were doing. Mm-hmm. I like went online afterwards to just kind of poke around. The internet's the internet, and was like, oh, this game barely did anything. It was barely finished. I was like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Like, this is a very, very different game than I think the internet may have perceived it as.
Yeah.
All that said, I think it, like, if you're the type of person who maybe plays like one game a year, this one's gonna feel pretty weird if that's the only one you're doing.
Yeah.
I think like contextually, Death Stranding is very good to me because I play a ton of video games, and it's not a lot like any of the other ones that I play.
It's a video game connoisseur's video game.
I'm hesitant to call it a connoisseur's thing because that like it's baked in is a sense of like,
is it the death grips of video games?
That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Like I don't want to necessarily be like, well, it's only for people with taste. Like that's not what I'm saying.
You got to listen to a lot of music to like death grips.
Yeah, you need to be like, I really need something different. And this is really, really different. And that's definitely what Death Stranding feels like to me, is if this was the only game I played this year, I'd be like, I don't know if I like that very much. But, you know, after doing my due diligence with Call of Duty and all of just kind of the cookie cutter games that are coming out, it's like, that's really, really different, and it's really swinging for the fences, especially the story too. I felt like that was probably the most successful part for me. Mm-hmm. It is not quite as effective as Nier, like having just played that. Like I feel like Nier Automata was good the whole way through, and everywhere I looked in that game, I found meaning and like found like, oh, like this is totally consistent with what the story and theme that they're trying to drive at. Mm-hmm. Whereas Death Stranding was like really cool and interesting and told like a bananas sci-fi story. But it kind of takes a second to get there. And like, you do have to think about it and be like, okay, who is this person? Like, who is this character that they're putting in front of me? I'd be interested to see if and when you play it, like what your take is there, because you have a much easier time absorbing a lot of information than I do.
Sure.
Your reading of Game of Thrones tends to be deep and detailed, whereas mine is just trying to track sort of the major comings and goings of what's happening in the book.
That's books, though. I feel like you're a lot better at that with games than I am. Like your analysis of Nier was quite good, and I did not pick up on a lot of it.
Yeah, but that's sort of like game stuff. I feel like it's almost a movie at parts with Death Stranding. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'd be interested to see if you pick it up.
I think I'll give it a shot after what you said.
Yeah, it's at least worth playing, you know, the first couple hours or something, because even if you don't get through the story, it's a really weird game, and like just playing through that mechanic is like interesting and odd. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I like this game. I'd be interested to talk about it more at length, like if you play it, or if, you know, we just decide to take that on at some point. It's a wild one.
All right.
I am also playing the Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones on the RG351P.
That's the worst name. It's the worst name.
Very marketed video game title. Yeah, I'm playing through the Sacred Stones, the Fire Emblem game.
Cool.
It's still really good. I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's super enjoyable. I've configured the RG a little bit more recently, and there's a ton of stuff you can do with like emulators to begin with, but one of the very useful and easy things is quick save and rewind. Mm-hmm. And so like if I make a very stupid mistake or like a dire misstep in Fire Emblem, which happens frequently enough, you can just rewind. Like just rewind a minute ago and do it over, which is a mechanic that they implemented in Three Houses. Like that's something that they realized people probably wanted to do anyway, and built that into the video game. But I'm just sort of like backwards compatibility that mechanic that they've already had into this older game, and it's quite enjoyable. So
nice.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about Fire Emblem, just because like it's, you know, people know what Fire Emblem is. It's fucking tactics and anime. So It's good stuff there.
It's tactics and anime, baby.
I do want to call out how good the names are in this game, because there's a lot of like high fantasy names.
Sure.
But then there's also like Kyle and Seth are knights in this video. Seth. I like
Gosh.
Kyle is a very weird name for a medieval
fantasy?
knight. Yeah. So I find this quite enjoyable. I'm not sure if it's just like a Japanese company being like, hey, what's in a sort of British medieval name? And one of them was like, Kyle. And they're like, yeah, dude, I like that. Or if they're intentionally just like, fuck it, name him Kyle, name him Seth.
See, it would be fantasy if instead of using a Y, they did an AE. Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Then I'd be like,
Like a Targaryen.
We're in fantasy land now, baby. They're spelling things all weird.
How would you spell Seth in a fantasy way? S-E-F-F? Seth?
Seth. Yeah, fuck it, Seth. S-E-F-F.
So Seth is Seth. Just over time, it became Seth.
That's my favorite
Seth.
character from Final Fantasy VII.
Seth.
Yeah.
Bad boy Seth.
Yeah, Seth.
Seth sounds like the fuckboy version of Sephiroth. He like comes out in like a backwards cap, and he's got his mixtape that he's trying to get hyped up for, and what else is a fuckboy thing? He's got, I don't know, crazy dyed hair or something.
Man, we're just putting fuckboys on blast. We're dunking on these poor kids every single episode. It's not only a problem that we do it every episode, it's also a problem because we have no idea who this person is. We are 15 years out from
I don't
high school.
know who this is. I've just always wanted to be the old man on the lawn just yelling. That's kind of what I aspire to be one day.
That's nice for a podcast rooted around optimism. That's really good. Yeah.
Yelling nice things.
Like, sure.
Hey, think about your mom.
Follow your dreams, you idiot. The final game that I'm playing, David.
Yes, tell me.
Is Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Switch.
That's out?
It's out. Came out last Friday.
Oh my God. I know what I'm playing this week.
It's quite a good game.
Did you ever play that one on the Wii U?
Yeah, I think you and I played through it together, in fact.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was a great one.
Yeah, on your D Street house. I think that we played through that one pretty far, I think. I feel like we got to the end of it.
We got pretty far. And then Willie and Ian went even farther beyond. I was like, I didn't even know there was a secret level at the end.
They went plus ultra.
Mm-hmm. But no, that game's great. Love that game.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting playing it after, a pretty sizable amount of time with Odyssey and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't feel nearly as mechanically innovative as Odyssey did, but it's so good. It does the basics so well, and is very typical Mario in that it is not afraid to introduce you to a mechanic and then never bring that up ever again. Just have one level where they do something fun and they're like, no, we're done with that.
Mm-hmm. We did everything we needed with that.
Yeah, it's good. They did a level where they started playing the Mario Kart song from Super Nintendo and had a bunch of speed boost pads on the level, and you're just supposed to essentially race through this track they have.
That's fun.
It's very fun. Yeah. It's a great game. I played it cooperatively with my beloved.
I was about to say, did you play with Emily Alice?
I did. Yeah. It's really enjoyable. I think something it does really well is that it is super accessible. It doesn't demand too much from you. There's little parts where it does, but having A, played it before, and then B, just played a ton of video games, I'm we're just not having that hard of a time, right? We kind of just blasted through the game. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that is really cool that aids a lot of the accessibility when you're playing cooperatively is when somebody dies or somebody gets hit, that you can essentially come back after that if your other person is still alive.
It's just to hit their bubble, right?
Or they can do it themselves. It just takes it. It's a delayed sort of response. So it's not you come back immediately. There's a little bit of punishment, but not very much. As long as you have lives, you're able to respawn very quickly. It's cool. the spiritual opposite of Halo on a legendary or whatever. When one person dies, the whole fucking game stops. But this one is brutal. It's brutal, but this one's no, it's fine. Just keep going. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was quite good. good. I'm trying to think. I feel like I had more to say about it, but it's a good fucking video game.
Nice.
I really love the stylistic influence that I think Super Mario World had on the game. There's like a lot of visual cues that are taken from that one, like all the sticker collecting and stuff like that. All the visual style is very Super Mario World, and then all the like in universe references to other games is super enjoyable. Mario games do that really wonderfully usually, like in Odyssey, where you'll go into the wall and it turns into like a 2-bit or 8-bit Mario game for a second.
Oh, so good.
It's so enjoyable.
That song still gets stuck on my head.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I think
Donk City,
like,
baby.
Yeah, no, the absolute banger at the end there. Yeah, I was trying to think about this, that I don't know that a lot of other video game franchises like play with their in-game references quite as much as Nintendo does. I feel like they're just so constantly making references to other games that doesn't feel like pandering. It's like, oh, this is handled really well and really fun.
More like if you're playing a Nintendo game, you like other Nintendo games. So here's a little Easter egg, you know? Yeah,
I think like the only other stuff that comes to mind is like we talked about this last week, but in Uncharted 4, you get to play through Crash. Like that sort of stuff is super interesting. And like you just don't see it very often.
Yeah, unless it's like a game designed to do that, like Astro.
Right.
Astro World?
Astro's Playground. Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode. That was the game, right?
That was it. That was the one we played. It's the launch title.
You play as Travis Scott.
Yeah, so very, very good. Sorry, my brain
derailed you pretty good right there.
That's fine. The sound of me doing is me shifting the mechanical gears in my brain to try and talk about video games again.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a very good video game. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I don't know that there's very much to say about it. It's just fucking good.
I'm totally with you. That's just like a tight game, all killer, no filler, even though there's like 100 levels.
There's a lot of levels in this video game. Yeah, I was like shocked at how much video game there was.
I'm gonna have to get that one as a day one purchase. Have you played any of the new like Bowser mode or whatever it is?
Haven't even touched it. Yeah, not even yet.
Okay,
but I'm sure I'll get there.
Cool.
We've only just gotten through like the main game. We just unlocked Rosalina.
Whoa, you can play with Rosalina?
Yeah, I was shocked about that too. I don't think you and I had got to that part.
No, we had some good times playing that one though.
Oh yeah,
I love being a cat.
Love yeeting other people off the level. That's my favorite part.
It's always good.
Just pick them up, throw them. Yeah. I got lives to burn. I'm going to throw somebody off this level. Yeet. All of this, however, will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week, David.
All right.
It is Jason Jason DeHara. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. On Twitter. Yeah. He is I believe it's the lead combat designer for Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
This dude has been putting out like the best threads on fucking Twitter. And it's just so quietly doing it. He has been essentially like taking parts of other video games and just breaking down to like the smallest detail, the like combat designs of all of them. So I think he had worked on God of War, so he has like some background there.
We said he also did Jedi Fallen Order, right?
Yeah. I think he's currently there, but he worked on God of War as well. And then he frequently will talk about Sekiro as well. Just a fucking masterclass. These goddamn Twitter threads. I go in there every time, just like, hell yeah, this is so specific and so cool. And like talks about how the like enemies will approach certain situations and how it like what it's conveying to the player and shit. He did this thread where he talked about that first boss in God of War, the most recent one, where it's like the big ogre with like that huge stone that he's throwing around.
Yeah.
And how it presents itself as being really dangerous, but is really not. Like really not threatening at all.
Yeah.
And he's super forgiving to the player, where he had showed a couple of situations where Kratos is essentially standing still. Like he's not moving around very much. And the ogre like, does a couple of swings at him, and realistically only one of them hits Kratos. But if you're taking it seriously and like it's your first time playing, you're like, oh fuck, like he's so close to hitting me, I'm almost gonna die. Like all this sort of stuff. And it breeds both a mechanical understanding of the game, but also confidence in the player at the same time, which I'm like, Jesus, like they just clearly so well thought out down to like the smallest fucking detail.
Yeah.
And then contrasting that with like Sekiro, where the point of the game is not to make you feel like a Greek god, it's to make you feel like a weak and vulnerable person, right? Like it's supposed to make you feel very small. And then he sort of compared like literally down to like the angles of attack of like how close do you have to be to somebody to actually like sort of lock onto them with your attack, and how God of War, it's super forgiving. Like you can kind of just walk over in the general direction and swing and it'll hit somebody. Whereas Sekiro, you got to be like really aiming for whoever you're trying to hit. And there's just no room for error there. And oh Jesus, it's incredible. I love these threads.
Nice.
Every time I see him popping up, I'm like, oh baby, what are we doing today? what small detail are we analyzing?
What am I sinking my teeth into right now?
Seriously. Do you have something fueling your sense of optimism, David?
Yeah, I do.
Tell me, please.
It's Bugsnax.
It's Bugsnax, just the whole ass video game.
It is.
Hell yeah. Okay. Why?
It's a very refreshing game in just a world of Bloodborns and Niohs and Rocket Leagues and so much like expectation to perform well. Then there's Bugsnax, which is just like, hey, everybody's in this game's got problems. And, if you can just catch us some Bugsnax, just leisurely, no time frame, no like need to do it. No one's going to like die or anything. Just go get it done. Just go get it done.
Go get a bunger real quick.
Just go grab some bungers and feed them to me and turn my arm into a bunger. That sounds like a fun thing to me.
Just a small little thing. Yeah.
I want bunger arm. It's just what I've always wanted.
What is the physical form of a bunger?
It is a hamburger.
Okay. Oh, sure.
The body's a hamburger with a like paper wrapping around just the bottom part, like a
burger.
Yeah,
like a bunger.
Like a bunger. And then it all has curly fries for legs and regular fries for like horns.
Delicious.
Pretty good.
Delicious bungers.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I kind of want to turn into a bunger. That sounds great.
Bunger is the best.
I'm sure the dark implication of me turning into a bunger is present and I just don't know it, but fuck it, man.
It's in there somewhere. I mean, there are these eating a Bugsnax alters your mind as well. It's pretty much confirmed that this woman who's like a singer, she's like, I need a grape skeeto for my hair. No, she needed a pinantula for her hair. Sure. And needed like a grape skeeto as well because she needed just to get a little extra kick to think of some good lyrics.
Yeah.
She's like, whoa, this is the implications here are dark.
She needs the power of the blood. You run into another person in Bugsnax who's like, hi, my name is Mensis, and I need you to go host a nightmare for me real quick.
This is actually just a dream.
The prequel.
The bunger dream.
The bunger, or the prequel to Bloodborne. Bungborn.
Bungborn?
Bungborn.
It's the prequel?
Rolls right off the tongue. Yeah.
Prequel, nice. So the world of Bugsnax was old Yarnum.
Yes, yeah. It was just Yarnum a little while.
Just Yarnum back then. It becomes old Yarnum.
It was actually pronounced Yar Yum for a while, but it's been lost to translation.
Yar Yum.
Bungborn.
You play as a bunger.
Bungborn.
You play as a bungter who is...
Hello, good bungter.
It's still just a doll. It's the same doll. It's the same hunter's dream, except you're just bunger going around. A bunger.
Yeah.
My God. Don't ruin Bugsnax for me. Bugsnax is pure.
Bugsnax is not Bloodborne. I did this to escape Bloodborne. Leave me alone.
I think what I'm really optimistic for is just a wholesome video game.
Sure. Yeah.
It's nothing but just wholesome. It's just a fun family game. It's great.
I sort of like this breed of wholesome too, where there's sort of a weird undercurrent running through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where if you look at it for long enough, you're like, is this a horror video game?
It's a wholesome fever dream.
Yeah. Katamari fits in there pretty nicely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mr. Mosquito, I feel like is...
Mr. Mesquite, yeah. Earth Defense Force?
Yeah, very, very odd, very like fun and like happy-go-lucky despite like cities getting leveled.
Yeah.
A little bit of WarioWare there too.
I could definitely see that.
Like, isn't the story in WarioWare that he's just like going around like stealing everybody's money or something?
I mean, that's definitely follows with Wario, but I really don't know if there was even a story.
He's like driving around to see his friends, I'm pretty sure. The plot centers around Wario founding the video game studio WarioWare Inc. and hiring numerous friends of his to develop the microgames for him. I gotta play WarioWare again. On my RG351P. made by Abernick.
You ain't going to be able to play Twisted.
That's true. Actually, no, I can't. There's a gyroscope in that little guy.
Really?
Yeah.
They knew. They do that just for Twisted. That's it.
I mean, I'd probably, that's what else would you put it in there for? They also have a way to simulate sunlight on this little guy.
For Boktai.
For a specific game that we're going to talk about soon.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, do you want to move on to our main thing?
Sure.
David, it's Good Games.
We're back.
We're back. After one little list week, we came back to Good Games. And bring it back home.
We weren't feeling very ready to try very hard last week, so that's why we did the list.
Hey, we tried real hard in thinking about some video games.
Hey,
about
those
romance.
Those are some romantic games.
That's true.
Got no qualms with it. No qualms.
No qualms. But it's Good Games again. It's the segment where we talk about all the games of yesteryear. Gosh, all the things about that we like about them, and maybe imagine what they might look like today. And speaking of Hideo Kojima, the maker of Death Stranding and Metal Gear Solid and Zone of the Enders, he also produced another game that we want to talk about. It's called Boktai. The sun is in your hands.
What a game.
What a game. What a weird one. Even at the time, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is such a strange video game. Before we get too far into it, let me hit you with a few hot stats, David.
Hot stats.
So this game came out for Game Boy Advanced September 13th of 2003.
Oh my god.
Little bit ago.
I was 12.
Yeah, I was a young boy.
Young
I
lads.
also was 12.
Young lads.
Yeah. This was made by Konami Japan, which made a lot of games, but some you might recognize: Zone of the Enders, Metal Gear Solid, a couple of DDR games, and of course, Boktai.
Beautiful.
Like we've just mentioned, the most notable person who was working on this was Hideo Kojima, who had released Metal Gear Solid 2 years prior in 2001. So I think at this point was still like a name in video games, right? Like Metal Gear Solid had enough time to be critically acclaimed. Metal Gear Solid was sort of the sophomore effort that I think was pretty well received, if not for the whole Raiden part of the video game.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that part actually fucking bangs and is a total subversion of the first game. So
hot take, Chase Albee.
Dude, I'm on Team Raiden. I like that
You're
part of the
Raiden
game.
stan, okay.
He's a weird character, but I like that Hideo was having a conversation with the first Metal Gear in this part of Metal Gear. Like in Metal Gear Solid 2, it's like it opens with the tanker mission, which is so just regular by the books Metal Gear Solid. And then they do a whole other thing in the second part where they introduce Raiden, where like the first part of it's so similar to the first game, the intro of the first game. It's like the whole conflict is so similar. And then you meet fucking Snake, like actual Solid Snake, going by Pliskin. And the game is just like essentially mocking you for making this guy out to be a hero. And then sort of the comings and goings of you trying to walk in the footsteps of somebody who's not even super sure about himself as far as, should he be here? What side is he on? All that sort of shit.
Damn.
Metal Gear Solid 2 bangs, dude. It just does.
Where's the Metal Gear Solid 2 remaster?
Did they not have one? Did they not put that out?
I don't think so. They've remade like the first one a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that I think they've really remade a lot.
They have the HD collection, but that's not necessarily a redo.
That's just like up-resing. That's it.
Sure. Yeah. God, I need to play Metal Gear Solid 2 again. That would be a walk down memory lane. My God.
Blue Point, where you at?
Seriously, Blue Point, get the fuck on it. That would be so cool. Anyway, so yeah, this game, I think at this point, Hideo Kojima was like a name in video games, especially considering that they printed his name on the front of the like, box.
He was the thing.
Yeah, that thing was thangin'.
Always the old thing.
I do have a review from our friends at Joe Video. Back again.
Back with the Joe.
Back with Joe.
All
the
right.
JoJo. I have taken a review that they wrote in 2004 about this game. I've mangled it through Google Translate a bunch of times, so a bunch of different languages and would spat it back out in English.
Cool.
So let's see what Jovideo had to say about Boktai, The Sun is in Your Hands. They said, kind of, experience is based on the use of new lightning bolts and has many obstacles for players outside space. Continuing the summer on the bench should learn from experience. Sun. 8 out of 10. They like this game.
Wait, just the last sentence is sun?
Sun. I think that, I'm not sure what Google Translate was doing there, but I think they're just like, I think this is sort of the vibe that's happening in this review.
When you pass it through Google Translate that many times, they're just giving you a vibe check more than an actual translation.
It's the remainder when you've done too many calculations with Google Translate.
Exactly.
David, can you tell me what the fuck this video game is?
No, I never played this game.
Yes, I assumed we were going to make a grilled chase.
We're making a grilled chase, but the thing that I remember the most about it was that it had a sensor in the cartridge that you would plug into the Game Boy, and it would know whether or not you were in sunlight or not. Mm-hmm. It would know.
Couldn't fake it. I tried.
Chase tried.
Yeah.
Indoor boy Chase tried many times, but couldn't get
me outside.
So you'd have to go outside periodically to like charge your guy up.
A lot of the game actually, you had to charge your weapon to like get the sun power in there, and then it's essentially like reloading in any other video game is charging your power. So it was an integral part of the game, the sunlight charge.
Must have been brutal for that, like actually looking at the game.
Yeah, I found it pretty challenging to see the video game when you're outside. Like it in certain lights it was okay because you could kind of catch a little bit of like, backlight, especially if you're on the SP, but yeah, being outside is not super easy because you need to turn the brightness up a lot to see it.
Yeah.
As far as like the mechanics of this game go, it's like very much a like isometric kind of shootery thing. A lot of stealth, like takes a lot from Metal Gear Solid as far as like sneaking around and trying to be careful. There's very much the Metal Gear Solid thing of like pressing yourself against a wall and knocking on it to like draw people over to where you are. And then, if you shoot them towards the back, that I think it does a lot more damage. So, and I think you're encouraged to not necessarily fight everybody, very similar to a Metal Gear game. Like you really don't need to encounter everyone or fight everyone that you encounter. So, yeah, I think mechanically it's got a little bit of Zelda with like the dungeons that it presents. It's got a little bit of Castlevania in the like gothic style and story that it's presenting, and then definitely the Metal Gear Solid influences there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you want to grill up a grilled chase sandwich?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut kind of straight to the chase here.
Hey.
And my first question is: did being outside add anything to the game actually, or would it have been better served if the reload mechanic was done some other way besides being outside?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to be said for novelty here. I read a bunch of interviews and Hideo was essentially saying like, I want to make a game that is truly portable, that like when people play Game Boy games, they mostly play it stationary, despite the fact that this is a portable console, but I want to force people to play this game in a portable way, which is a wild fence to swing for. And I think even now I'm like, that's really cool and a very like neat thing to experiment with.
Yeah.
I think if you were trying to make a game that was more accessible, then just pressing R would suffice, sure. Mr. Kojima. Like the sun theme is so present in the whole game, and like it's not like you're gonna lose that by not forcing someone to absorb sun bullets to be able to shoot.
Sure.
But yeah, I think like I don't think he should have balked at that. Boktai. I don't think he sort of balked at that opportunity to do this, because it is such a wild sort of experiment. And like this is the sort of thing that if you do enough of these wild swings, you'll eventually hit on something very cool. And so, yeah, I think that's a worthwhile sort of endeavor that he did here.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Could you just like not play the game at night? You just couldn't play it at night.
So eventually, like, not that, I mean, I guess this is a very old game, but like not to spoil anything, but eventually it sort of behooves you to play at night or like when the sun is down. And there's another cool thing about it is the in-game like timer. There's a timer like there is in Animal Crossing. When the sun is actually down in real life, it is down in the video game.
Sure.
And so you do have to sort of play it in the real world as much as you are playing it in the video game, right? Like there's opportune times to play this game, which is cool, I think, again, in the experimental way, but sort of challenging if you just want to play a video game on a Sunday afternoon. It's like, well, it's not bright enough outside.
Yeah, right. It's raining today. I guess I can't play.
This game, I don't know if it sold particularly well in Seattle. This would probably not be the greatest video game for this city.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess in Sacramento where we were, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, sun's always
sunny.
out. That's fine.
Came out in September, still plenty of sun.
Yeah.
In September in Sac, but that's you're getting into gray territory out here.
Yeah, it probably didn't sell very well in like Alaska, I would think.
Yeah, no. Unless it was the summer months where it's always sunny forever.
Yeah, maybe an odometer next time, Hideo.
I read this review where he said he wanted to build in not only a sun meter, but a breath sensor too, to see if you had eaten a lot of garlic, which would you would
What?
kill the vampires faster in this game.
So Hideo wants you to be out in the sun and eat garlic.
He wanted to make a weird fucking video game, dude.
It was vampires, that's why?
Yeah, there's vampires in this one.
I also want to put a camera on it so I can see if they have a stake or a cross in their hands. Then they get extra special powers.
It's a camera that's uploaded directly to my computer and mine only.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the implication is actually not so great.
Oh, no. Kojima, what are you doing, dude? Okay.
Yeah.
Besides the novelty of
Yeah.
the mechanics of the game, what sticks out the most to you about it?
I mean, there's actually there's a lot there. Like the controls are super tight, which is very odd on a Game Boy game. Mm-hmm. I think even games that I really, really like on Game Boy sometimes can control just kind of muddy.
Sure.
The like button sensitivity and the directional pad sometimes just didn't lend itself well to super accurate gameplay, but like hugging to walls feels really good. The like knocking and shooting feels really good. Even just like absorbing sun feels quite nice. I think there's a lot of sound design that aids that.
Sure.
But the controls were quite good. I also, in the same interview I was talking about before, Kojima said that that's like a cornerstone of the video games that he tries to make. Is like, he said if it doesn't feel good, it's like not a good video game. Even if the concept is really interesting and all that sort of stuff in there is good, it doesn't work if it doesn't feel good to play.
Like movement wise or
controls. Yeah. So like just anything you're doing, right? So shooting has to feel good in Metal Gear Solid, or in Boktai, like movement and absorption and the stealth that it does has to feel good. So yeah, I think the first thing that jumps to mind as far as like what went well outside of the novelty was that. I think the like character design was pretty novel and interesting. I think just like, a lot of the people that worked on this game clearly, had influences and were thinking about those when they built it. And so you can see a lot of that, right? Like the Castlevania thing is definitely there.
Yeah.
But it's sort of as if Castlevania took place during a very nice sunny day. Mm-hmm. So that's just interesting to me.
Sure.
The world is also pretty interesting. Like they have you go through these dungeons and shit to go grab a bunch of vampires and go kill them. Mm-hmm. And the worlds were all pretty different, like the levels themselves. So yeah, it was interesting to wander through those. It reminds me a lot of like Hyper Light Drifter in the way that there's the different sections of that game that you get through all feel very different. Mm-hmm. And that being pretty fun to just like explore around there.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, like most things that Hideo's involved with, the story is absolutely bananas and shares a lot with Death Stranding.
Really?
Which is super, super weird. It essentially takes place like near the apocalypse in Boktai, where like people have almost stopped dying. Like I forget exactly the specifics, but I think like they've discovered how to be immortal, and that's like kind of draining the life out of the world.
Sure.
But like essentially like there's only a few people who are these immortals. And a lot of the other population has just sort of died off. And I kind of forget how it ends, but there's just all this like wild stuff going on in a very like happy-go-lucky and not chipper, but like kind of bubbly video game that's like about the end of the world and like the end of the universe.
Terrifying.
Like at parts it's talking about like the heat death of the sun and shit like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hideo.
Yeah. Which again, and I'll read a couple of clips here from this interview in a second, but like he was talking specifically that he really likes to make games that will leave an impact on someone. He talked about this comic tiger mask, something like that, about this like manga that like really influenced him as a young dude. And like he had said like, damn, like this like story was firing on a lot of cylinders that it takes a second to sort of absorb all that, which feels so much like Metal Gear. It feels so much like Zone of the Enders. There's just this weird, almost unsettling nature to all these video games.
Yeah.
Where like you're definitely playing the video game. There's all this other stuff that's kind of running underneath that even when you finish, you're like, oh fuck. Like that one's gonna stay with me for a little while.
Yeah. I can't unsee that one.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that he was even bringing that to just like a Game Boy Advanced video game. Supposedly he had claimed that he pitched this to Shigeru Miyamoto himself and was like, hey, I have this idea for this weird video game. Please let me make it. And like most of the people he said were like, okay, I guess, like, give it a go. And I sort of read that as them being like, yeah, sure, dude. Like, we'll see about this sun-absorbing video game.
The version Kojima versus the Chad Miyamoto. It's just Miyamoto's like the prom king who's sitting at the cool kids table, and then Kojima's just like the weirdo who just comes up like, could I make this weird video game, please?
You really want to make a Game Boy Advanced game about absorbing the sun? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't, Miyamoto?
Come on, man. So yeah, I think there was a lot to love about it. Even in hindsight, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I've been playing this on the emulator, and like I said, there's a way to simulate the sun, so it's honestly a much more enjoyable experience because
you can see the game.
I can see the game, and the mechanic in the cartridge that would absorb sun was sensitive enough to know how intense the sun was. So even if you're out in it, sometimes it's like taking forever to recharge.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, and so you can just turn it up to 10 on the RG351P.
Infinite sun bullet.
Yeah,
sounds nicer.
Yeah, so it's really enjoyable. Yeah, it feels good. It's a very like tight Game Boy Advance game, which is kind of rare, I feel like.
Nice.
Do you have any more questions?
That was all the burning ones I had.
Sure. Let me walk through a couple of this interview that I found with him where he gives some absolutely outlandish answers to these questions.
All right, I'm ready.
I think are all very interesting. I mentioned to you this before the show, but one of the first questions the interviewer asked is, the interviewer says, all these games you've made thus far have a very stylish and cool image to them, but this one, ... Kojima responds by pointing to the Boktai cart in his hand, saying, hey, this is cool too. Cool and hot, like the sun. And then it says laughs, which is a very, very cool answer.
I mean, he's proud of his product. He ain't going to let anybody neg it.
It's cool and hot, man.
It's cool and hot. Cool, hot, man. That's definitely a Kojima character.
That is absolutely a Kojima character.
Cool, hot, man.
I really wish I could just like talk to Hideo for like a couple of minutes and say like, hey, could you please just leave a review on our Apple podcast that says this podcast is cool and hot? Because man, that would be enough for me.
Retire from podcasting a success at that point.
That's it. We're cool and hot. And he points to it. It says this one.
Kojima, don't you remember Comic-Con 2019, I think? I was there in the same room as you. We shared the same air.
I can feel him here.
Kojima.
His presence.
Don't you remember? I have a limited edition Death Stranding poster from you, Kojima.
So later in the interview, the interviewer asks, but why did you choose that title? I think it's Bakura no Taiyu, which I think Boktai is a shortening of. And in parentheses, it says, our son. Kojima says, because I was the child of the 1960s. How's that for an answer? And then later he says, as far as titles go, it was a very calming, peaceful vibe to our son, the interviewer said. Kojima said, nowadays I think people are forgetting the sun. It's not on our minds. When I was a kid, we had the Tower of the Sun, Akamoto's famous art sculpture. Then there was Shintaro Ishihara's book, Taiyu no Kietsu, Season of the Sun, and also the movie Taiyu ga Ippai, Purple Noon. My generation was awash in sun imagery. I love the sentence. Nowadays, I think people are forgetting the sun. That is just fucking incredible.
I mean, people are sleeping on the sun, man.
They forgot about it.
We don't appreciate the sun like we used to.
Nowadays, everybody got something to say.
Gives us everything. Gives us life. That's sun.
Motherfuckers forgot about sun.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Let me see. And then the interviewer responded, "This is definitely true. There was Hibari Masora's hit song, Maka na Taiyu, Crimson Sun, too. Everyone loved the sun back then." Kojima, "But at some point, it felt like everyone started forgetting about the sun's existence. And yet, without the sun, we'd all be dead."
I mean, he's not wrong.
Kojima! What are the stuff that this dude says? The interviewer also said, "Wait, didn't the Golden Sun game just come out for Game Boy Advance, though?" Kojima said, "That's true. They kind of beat me to the punch."
Damn.
The interview goes on to ask Kojima about the story. Kojima at some point responds and says, "The story is very intense. I wrote it after all, period." So absolutely aware of his style.
Yeah.
He said, "It takes place in an age when the solar system is nearing the end of its lifespan. There's a tension between our sun and the huge void of space that surrounds us. It's kind of like the void is always trying to swallow our sun. The sooner we evolved by pairing off, reproducing, and bequeathing our superior genes to the next generation. But what if this process was interrupted? What if we didn't die anymore? Humanity would enter a zombie-like state of existence, living and never fully expiring, and thus evolution would stop. Civilization would die out, and eventually our star, too, would meet its demise. The villain in Boktai is plotting just that, to transform humanity into the undead, a species of existence that never dies."
Is that what he said?
That is what he said. I love this dude.
Oh my god. You got to be working on a different wavelength.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He's on another plane of existence. It's so wild too, because there is so much. I'm really interested to see if you play Death Stranding, because there is so much in the story that sounds so similar to this game in 2003.
Yeah.
That like there's this interruption to how things are going, and it's right on the precipice of just absolute destruction. It's just, oh my god.
Damn.
He said a little bit after this, however, the character, Atenko, who embodies the spirit of the sun, he believes the sun belongs to us, to humanity, and he fights against the villain despite knowing it's a lost cause. You can't ultimately win against the void of nothingness, that is space. Victory is just not in the cards, and yet he still fights. I think that's actually a pattern that reappears in all my games. The concept of a battle that's a lost cause. That's heavily in Death Stranding. Like, part of the main thrust of the story is fighting against something that's going to happen anyway.
Brutal.
It's crazy. It's so wild to me that like he's been doing this for so long and has kind of had such a pinpoint on his vision for what these games are. And like this comes with a lot of recognition that there were also a lot of people that worked on all these video games. I think he said 15 people worked on this one, which he said was a lot of folks, but I was like, it's not that many compared to modern big companies, but still.
Have you seen how long
still,
those video game credits are nowadays?
It's long.
It's like 2 hours to get through them.
But yeah, I think it was interesting to see how clearly dude thought about games then, and how much that is absolutely still influencing how he makes
still
games
how
now.
he does it. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get off this interview, I did want to shout out this website called, I think it's Shmuplations. Is how you say it?
Shmuplations.
Shmuplations. SHMUPLATIONS. Because they have this like Patreon that I wanted to give a shout out to, where they just go through and translate a bunch of Japanese interviews into English. And I wouldn't have been able to read this interview had they not done that. So if you're feeling so saucy, you can go check out their Patreon to get more interviews. It's cool as hell.
Cool.
Big shout out. So why don't we imagine what this game might look like today, David?
Okay. The game knows whether or not you are near somewhere that is emitting greenhouse gases.
Oh my God.
The cleaner air you get, the better your character performs. So you got to go into the mountains.
He makes the most intense Captain Planet simulator game of all time.
Starring John Cheadle, of course.
Easily, yeah.
That's the Captain Planet we're after right now. Captain Vengeance, truly. This
sounds like a game that Hideo would, in fact, make, because I bet he would bake in an ending to this video game where it is unreachable unless we solve climate change.
Oh, shit.
Like, you cannot beat the game.
Gamers are amazing. We would be able to solve climate change. Like, I gotta beat the Kojima game. How can I do this? becomes president of the United States to combat climate change.
New President Video Game Man has become president of the United States. So, yes, this is a good video game. You would mostly have to go to the mountains to play it. Is this a Game Boy game? Is that what we're getting?
I mean,
at?
it's a Switch
title?
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a phone game. Just put it on your phone. Everybody play it then.
Yeah.
You're really trying to get people to change their emissions. And then the people who can't go out into the mountains have to lobby their local government to put stricter restrictions on carbon emissions.
It's got like your local representative's phone number in the fucking video game. This is a video game he would make.
It knows based on your cellular data which phone number to put in there. You can make an algorithm for that for sure.
And then whether or not you actually called. You can't fake it. It says we're going to record your call. See if you actually did a good job lobbying.
You have to start off before you start the game. You have to like record a sentence and it memorizes your voice or something like that. And then it can tell if you're being sincere or not in the voice message. You weren't sincere enough that time. You have to try again.
You don't really care about climate change. I need you to do this one with feeling.
If you do, you get 5 Kojima bucks. You get to
That you can
unlock the new
spend
skin.
For Captain Planet.
Yeah, you unlock Captain Planet's purple-hued skin.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Gonna unlock my Thanos skin for Captain
My
Planet.
Captain Thanos. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's really nice. It seems like a lot of people won't play it, but damn, all the people who are big Hideo heads are going to be like, shit, dude, I love Captain Planet too.
I mean, if we could just harness the power of that first couple months of Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
what could we do?
Probably solve climate change, I gotta imagine. Who are the main characters in this video game, now that we're kind of talking about it?
Greta Thunberg
Okay.
is the main character.
I thought it was Don Cheadle as Captain Planet.
The Captain Planet as Don Cheadle is like the mentor / way you do these things, or like how you affect change, but you play as Greta Thunberg doing institutional political change.
Yeah. What's her Hideo name in this video game?
Clean Earth Girl.
Carbona?
But she's anti-carbon.
I know, yeah. There's some rich text there if you really think about it. Mm-hmm. God, the names in Death Stranding, dude. I can't even talk about them because there's so much shit going on in that video game.
Die Hard, man, is still just really good.
I know. There's so much. There are so many moments in that game that are played so straight. So Greta Thunberg is Carbonara.
Princess Boktai.
Princess Boktai. She is just Boktai.
She is Boktai. Oh, yeah, she's just Boktai.
Yeah, it's great. Our son. Great. That's the only character we need, actually. Just her and Don Cheadle kicking ass.
Her
and you
and
calling.
it's actually just Don Cheadle, but every once in a while he dresses up as Captain Planet to kick some ass.
He's still, yeah, everyone still refers to him as Don. Like he's very much not Captain Planet.
There you go.
And you're unclear if you're supposed to be aware of that in or out of the game, and Hideo's just sort of making you uncomfortable.
It's like, Don, you can't be here. You have a contract with Marvel. You have to go do this movie. Nah, save the planet.
I'm just here as Don, man.
I'm just here as Don. I ain't War Machine right now.
I'm just working there. I'm doing this for free. Hideo asked me.
I ain't Rhodey.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's what it would look like as a modern game. Totally, definitely.
Cool.
Do you have anything else to say about Boktai? The sun is in your hands.
No, I don't.
Perfect. Great.
Hey everybody, we're on Twitter.
Cool.
We got tweets.
We do.
Chase will make a Photoshop sometimes of our faces.
Sometimes, yeah. If we're doing good games, which
we're doing good games.
In fact we are.
So you probably find my face and Chase's face on the box art for Boktai.
For
most
Boktai.
likely.
Yeah. Very soon.
Yeah, maybe one of us will be a son. Who knows? Who knows what kind of Photoshop wizardry Chase has up his sleeve right now.
I just use Snapchat. I clip our heads and put it on the fucking picture. It's a very
what kind of
high-tech
Snapchat wizardry Chase has.
It's the only use I have for that app anymore. Nobody's on there.
Yeah, no one. That's a ghost town of an app nowadays. My gosh. Yeah, we are. Also, our handle is at Podtimism.
It sure is.
On Twitter. Our email is vgpodtimism@gmail.com.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm nailing this one. And
crushing it.
If you really want to help us out, leave a review. Give us some feedback on Apple Podcasts. Let us know what you think about the show and our voices and our opinions and thoughts on things. Yeah. Let us know what your feelings are, because that always matters. Always
It does. Also, if you're listening to this part of the show, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. You made it all the way through. You listened to
And
us.
boy, was it difficult.
You listened to us for an hour. Well done.
No, genuinely, it is quite flattering and cool that people are listening to the show after a year of doing it.
Yeah, so thanks, Garen.
Thanks, Garen, for every view that you do. We're coming up on 50 episodes. I don't know if you're quite aware of this, but it's coming.
Are we going to do something?
Probably should.
It feels like we should.
50
Cent.
blood on the sand. Okay, we're doing it.
Cool. Sounds good.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Is that it?
Think so. Unless you want to give some wisdom, Chase.
Of course I do. It's 2021 and people have forgotten about the sun. When we were younger, everybody was like, where's the sun? I love the sun. There's so much sun-based media. But now everybody's like, where's the dark? Where's the moon?
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. They're always looking for the hunter's moon. But I think instead, we should look for the sun. Make Boktai 4 a reality. Let's make this fucking video game.
Boktai 4?
I think there's 3 Boktais.
Really?
Boktai 3 is a video game.
Damn.
Sabata's Counterattack is the name of that one. So yeah, let's remember the sun. Nowadays, everybody got something to say. But nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish. Motherfuckers act like they forgot about the sun.
About the sun.
Thank you. That's what he was writing about. Eminem was a huge fan of Boktai. The sun is in your hand.
Not Boktai. He was a fan of the sun.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Eminem, known sun fan.
Fan of the sun. Sun man. Sun fan.
Some Eminem.
Some fan of the sun fan. Eminem.
I love it when our show just turns into us trying to make words out of nothing and sort of just moaning like brainless zombies into these microphones.
Eminem sun fan.
Eminem sun fan man. And is any of that funny? We're just like vomiting words out until something funny comes
We're
out.
just doing comedy scatting right now. We're just flowing. We're just flowing, baby.
I'm the scat man.
I'm the bunger man, baby.
I'm scat hard man.
Scat hard man.
That's maybe not the best. That's maybe not the best name for me.
Scat hard man. Are you sure that's not a character in like Leisure Suit Larry or something?
Oh God. I'm in hell.
Welcome